welcome back to the Kit and Krysta podcast, episode 31, back in the studio.
We've returned.
We have returned.
Right.
It feels nice to go into a normal-ish week.
This is not a normal week. This is Direct Week.
Woohoo! I said normal-ish.
This is far from normal.
Direct Watch has revealed the date and time. Now we need to clarify.
Yes.
This is Monday, September the 12th.
We're recording this before the Direct.
Correct.
Today we will be giving you our predictions.
Yes.
So you can consider this like a little time capsule that we're burying into the ground.
That's right.
And
in the edit, we will be doing a little like, are we right or wrong? And we're going to be doing, of course, live reactions.
Right. So you can see our full reactions there, but then you can, obviously you're listening to this now, see how we did.
Yes.
Kind of in the moment.
What is our score?
I mean, we could embarrass ourselves like majorly.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. So we'll see how we do. We obviously, again, we don't know anything. We're going into this just as you guys are. So it'll be fun to see how right our predictions are. And then we're again really excited to react live to it. It's a little bit less early. It's like 1 hour after the normal.
It's an hour helps.
An hour does help. 7 o'clock, I am like waking up, so that's not as bad.
Good.
Hopefully I won't look like a hot mess like I normally do.
Maybe I won't be wearing a baseball hat.
Yeah, you might have been showered. Maybe I will not be in my pajamas with like a massive coffee.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're looking forward to hanging out with you guys live if you're going to watch it with us for reaction.
It's already happened.
Yeah, that's true. I always forget.
Again, the passage of time is a challenge for you.
Well, yes.
Yes.
But yes, we're excited about all of the direct stuff.
Big week.
Big week. Let's see here. We have iPads now.
This was a big suggestion from Reggie.
That's right.
He said, I love the podcast. I listened to it, but you got to stop shuffling with those papers all the time.
Paper shuffling is bothering.
Yeah.
It's not, he says it's a distraction.
Right.
Which, you know what? We are always students of the school of Reggie.
We'll do whatever he says, honestly.
We'll take all of his great advice and suggestions, big or small.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir,
Mr.
yes,
President,
yes.
sir. So now we have our iPads, and it's very professional.
Why didn't we think of this sooner?
Thank you, Reggie. It's actually really nice, and it's more environmental.
I blame you. I was telling you, this iPad is from 2011.
Oh, no.
This is like
still works
a
really
second-gen iPad. Yeah. It still works for the extreme basics.
Good old Apple.
Yes.
Products that last a long time.
Right.
It's nice. Mine is quite old as well. So, but here we are, listening to Reggie's advice, and it's great. We love to have it. Thank you to everyone that came out to our live panel last time. We saw a bunch of our wonderful Patreon subscribers there. If you want to join us on Patreon, it's patreon.com/KitandKrysta. We've just been getting more and more people, added to our Patreon community, and it's been so wonderful. A lot of you guys are introducing yourselves to us, and I'm just amazed by like your background. I think one person yesterday said, like, I finally was convinced to join after your Splatoon rap videos. Thank God it went that way and not the other way. Like, I've unfollowed you because you're so bad at this. So it's been really great. It's been so much fun, and it was great to meet some of you guys in person.
And don't forget, we also now have their $2 tier.
Yes.
Which is a great entry point if you've been curious about what's going on in our world, and you can get access to our Discord.
Yep.
And of course, you can join, ask us the questions, which we answer here every week.
Yeah, that's right. So it's really great, and we are just so grateful to everyone that has been supporting us on Patreon and the wonderful community that we're building there. So it's been awesome. All right. What is all happening? We came back from PAX, and it's been a bit of a blur.
Yeah.
We have our PAX vlog and all the stuff that we captured from PAX. That's all live. So if you guys want to catch up with what we were doing at PAX and all the cool stuff we got up to, it's there for you.
We had a lot of content last week. So
it was like a little bit crazy.
Last Tuesday, we uploaded our Splatoon rap battle video,
which was a ton of
incredible.
Fun. Yeah.
I won.
You did.
For those wondering.
Big Man, Bigger Stands is the song of the year.
Right.
Grammy Award goes to you.
I'll be performing live at the Grammys this year.
King.
Yeah. Maybe the Super Bowl. Halftime show.
Of course. I think it'd be
perfect. See me there, yeah.
You can, instead of like left shark, it could just be like left big man and right big man. Right? It totally works.
I think so.
I think you should do it.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yes.
I'm in negotiations. That was a wonderful video.
It was so much fun.
Don't forget, we also have merch available for that. More on that in a little bit. We got a crazy story about that.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun.
The next day, we uploaded our live podcast from PAX.
Yep, we told a story about the wonderful Hideki Kamiya,
Right?
Who we spent a really magical week at PAX. And then we got a tweet from JP, who was also
Right.
there, and he says that he's doing well, and he thanked us for telling
that
the
was really
story.
nice.
And I was like, oh my gosh, it's just so nice
Right.
to just like reconnect with people that we've worked with in the past through this podcast. It's been wonderful. So
We also got a number of questions about the PlayStation Vita.
that's true.
Sir, do you have the right podcast?
Do a spin-off show about this PlayStation
This
Vita.
is not the Greg Miller podcast, I'm afraid, okay? Glad to answer those. Though, again, I own a Vita.
You do own one.
do.
Yeah, you do own one. You did use it. You played with it. You were
Very briefly.
a Vita consumer for a while.
I said, oh, so that's what the Vita is. Back in the
And
box.
back in the box. I'm sure you still have it in your mom's house somewhere.
I do. I know I have it.
I knew it.
And then Thursday, we put up our vlog.
Yes, the vlog was so much fun
Yeah.
to shoot. And I really love doing these vlogs now that we're like no longer with Nintendo, because it's truly like just our lives for like
And those are hard to do because at Nintendo, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, we could not show any logos.
outsider logos. If you film in a restaurant, you have to get them to sign a contract.
Right.
Like all these stuff.
Even
so
the
these
other like
things.
public places,
like the landmarks.
yes,
Like you can't film like Pike Place Market because
Right.
Pike Place
They're gonna
Market probably
sue you.
like sue you.
Right.
So it was always like very constrained, and we can never show. We did vlogs on Nintendo Minute, but we could never show you like what we were actually doing like 100% of the
Yeah.
time. And it's so fun to finally be able to do that. We like take you with us from the moment we get on the plane, to all of our dinners, when we like are walking around, and there's really no like constraints. And I really like that. And I think you guys are enjoying those too. So it's been great to see that.
On our Discord, a lot of discourse about the Seattle gum wall,
Oh my gosh, the gum wall.
which
Rightfully so.
watch the video, you get an eyeful, but there's just this alleyway that is
man.
covered in gum that people have stuck on the wall.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
Some people were trying to explain the history of this. I don't care. It's gross.
It's really yucky. Like, get a better landmark.
We learn all our lives, don't litter, don't spit gum out. And then here we are, like
Just celebrating the
yeah.
mess.
This is the ultimate in lawlessness.
Oh,
Scofflaws.
How could you? How could you? There was one of our patrons who's a superstar, I believe, and he had a picture of him like almost licking the gum wall. His tongue was like a centimeter away. I'm like, no, the germs are going to your
Well,
mouth.
again, you asked me, would I rather lick the gum wall or eat a mayonnaise sandwich? I'd rather lick the gum wall, to be quite
Oh my
honest.
god,
I would gladly do that. I'd be,
Okay,
considering the alternative, please let me go.
great.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about this anymore. It's gross.
And every day since then,
Yeah.
Splatoon 3 is out. We have been uploading another video. We're playing the entirety of the single player mode
This is like our first proper playthrough
of a full game.
of a full game.
Right.
And I've always wanted to do this, and we have this series now on Kit and Krysta Play. And it's literally just, we play through it, we don't edit the video at all. It's just like in these like sort of like 30-ish minute chunks. And we're playing through all the single player. And I know some of you guys are like, oh, I want to play it myself before I watch playthroughs because I don't want to be spoiled and stuff. So those will be there for you when you are ready for them. But they've been a ton of fun. You've been playing, I've been heckling you. That's my job.
That's how there's proof that there's no editing. It's like we get stuck a couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you have to try bosses multiple
Right.
times, or like try stages multiple times. It's pretty fun though. We've been having a lot of fun. It's a really like really kind of robust single player mode,
Yeah.
and finally I get to understand what the single player mode is by playing it. So there you go.
We don't know exactly how long this mode is, but maybe we'll be done around the weekend-ish.
I think
maybe
so. There might
sorta?
be a couple of chunks that are like a little bit longer.
We'll see.
We're not 100%ing it or anything like that.
Oh, no.
We're just like
Oh, no,
kind
no,
of
no.
naturally going with
Yeah.
our just like what we feel like
Right.
doing and then like going through it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but we did a really fun. We have a couple parts uploading that had some really fun stuff that I
Yeah.
was like, oh, interesting. So that is kind of what's happening, and then another busy week this week, obviously. But now I want to talk about my funny merch story.
Oh yes, this is great.
Yeah.
I like this.
Because it has to do with Slick Deals.
Our wonderful sponsor for this episode.
Sponsor for this episode of the video, which is awesome. So if you guys don't know what Slick Deals is, it's this Chrome extension, browser extension that you can get, and it just searches for coupons for you. There's also an app.
Yep. We should say.
And then you can also get they have hot deal reports and other reports that you can get subscribe to in a newsletter or go on their site and look at what is sort of trending deals. And we've used Slick Deals for a lot of our tech equipment. They have a lot of tech stuff that goes on sale. But this time, I was really surprised by what happened.
This is specific to the extension.
Exactly.
You had a wow moment using this.
I had a wow moment. So I have the browser extension on my computer, and I was getting our merch store set up for all of the new merch that we have for the Splatoon rap video. And I had set all the stuff up, and whenever we do new merch, we always order samples to make sure everything is quality for you guys. And then we also,
also to wear it.
Also to wear it because
where is it, by the way? I'd love to wear it.
The shipping request did say it.
You got the slowest shipping possible, I see.
That's not my fault. Talk to Spring. But anyways, I order all our samples, and I'm going to check out, and I was like, oh, I can use my Slick Deal Chrome extension to search for coupons. And it found a working coupon.
Amazing.
And I got 30% off of my own merch.
Your own merch.
And I was like, this is so awesome.
Right.
That's great. So there you go. It was so easy. It searched maybe 8 or 9 coupons, and a couple of them totally worked. And it was very easy in the checkout process.
That's not a place I would expect there to be a coupon to use.
Exactly.
But it very unobtrusively pops up when there is, it thinks there might be something.
Here's my suggestion to all of you. Get the browser extension with our link. I will put it here and in the description box. Go to our merch store, which is also in the YouTube shelf. Order yourself some great Kit and Krysta merch, and then use your Slick Deals browser extension to get 30% off.
Full circle.
Look at that. This is service, people. Let me tell you, okay? Anyways, we love Slick Deals. Real life proof that this works, and it's super easy to use, and hope you guys try it out. We'll put all the links below and here, right here. All right. Let us move on to our Nintendo Storytime, which is also Splatoon themed.
This is a good one.
We got it on the brain right now. This is a really fun story, and it's about the Splatoon Mess Fest, which is the launch event that we had for the first Splatoon game when it came out.
2015, that was.
2015.
Right.
Kind of a long time ago, but 2015.
I watched this video this morning. Felt like it was just yesterday.
Watched this video.
Yes.
I watched it last night before I went to bed, and it just, yes, exactly. All right, so let's wind it back to the beginning of this. You were actually the lead for this game.
I was, but you were working very closely with me as well.
Yeah. This was one of those launches that we did where it was very high profile. This is sort of the thing with the new IP was coming. We had this really creative young development team that were very interested in new ideas. We had met them at E3 and had a great time running around the show floor. I have some videos of that, and I think there's a meme from that moment.
Yeah, but okay. Why don't you explain that?
Okay, so
because I mentioned that to some people in the Discord and it blew their mind.
It did blow
and then
their
you
mind.
never came to explain it.
I did.
Oh, you did. Okay, good.
I came to explain, and I sent I shared the picture of when they shot me, and I was
gosh.
laying dead on the floor, which maybe is not so country nowadays. But yeah, so we had met the team. We had heard about this game. Obviously, we were all super excited about this sort of new, just totally new thing coming. For Nintendo, and then we met the development team at E3, and they were just we just had the best impression of them. They were so just fun and open to all these new ideas. They were incredibly creative, and we just got the sense from them that they're just kind of down for whatever.
And this was one of the first Nintendo E3s with social media.
Yeah.
So it was anything goes. What are we gonna do? Sky's the limit.
I loved it.
Right.
Yeah, it was the best. It was definitely one of those moments where everybody was just we're all willing to just try things out, be experimental.
Yeah.
And I was weirdly in charge of the developer. I was the developer social media handler that year. So my job was to come up with activities that we could do with the developers, whether it's, little videos that we can shoot for social or just, things that we could post with the developers on our social media channels. And of course, my first instinct was, well, Splatoon, let's get some water guns. and squid hats and run around and try to shoot each other crazily. And then of course everyone was like, we're so down for this. Let's do it. So we literally did that. We had like all these, we had a box of like, just like insane props to use for social media videos. We had like a lot of, like giveaways and stuff for Splatoon. So we were like getting the squid hats, putting that on, and then running around the second floor of the Nintendo booth, which is like the business area that we talked about before, where people were doing meetings and being very distracting. And if you run upstairs,
business, important business.
I'm sure Reggie was like, "Shut up! What are you doing out there? Like, I'm having a meeting with like CNET. Like, go away." But the other thing is, when you run up there, it like shakes the whole booth. So it was very distracting. So apologies to everyone that we've like maybe distracted during that video shoot. But we basically like we're running around like simulating like a Splatoon turf war in real life.
You did a meme.
And I was memed. We were memed. It was the meanwhile at Nintendo meme. We will put it here. The other fun fact that people might not know about that meme is Mr. Aonuma is also in that one.
Was he wearing a squid hat?
Yes. He is incognito wearing a squid hat.
Oh, you're going to have to show us which one that is.
We'll have to circle point
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because we were like, we need more than just the two, I think it was like 2 or 3 Splatoon developers that were there. We need more people. For Turf War, you need like 4-on-4.
Yeah. He was an extra?
He was an extra with Rob Tunstall.
Oh my gosh.
Who was his translator. There's a big tall guy and a bunch of like really short people.
Right.
That's why.
Wow. Oh, look at that. We got a little story time and a story time.
I know.
Where's Exhibit when you need him? This is an exhibit moment.
This is an exhibit moment. Story time inception.
But the Mess Fest, though, so yeah, Splatoon was handled kind of differently because we knew it was like potentially a huge new franchise for us.
Right.
So there was all these other like, we got the Splatoon's marketing planning summit and everybody came.
Yeah.
But the message was just like, we need big ideas. As they would call them, the purple cow.
The NBDB.
As Reggie calls it, NBDB, never been done before. I mentioned that to him when we saw him at PAX.
He laughed.
He wanted to give me a high five after that. He loved
it. It's true. You do want those kinds of moments, you know?
And that's like a double-edged sword because it's like, okay, well, typically we have some constraints and there are no constraints, but it also means like, oh gosh, we might have to do something that's like really hard.
And really risky.
And really risky.
You don't have any sort of like baseline of how to do it.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
And somebody on our events team was like, well, we think we could like recreate the Splatoon experience in real life.
Yeah.
And that sounded to everybody like a really promising idea.
They must have been inspired by the meme.
That was something that would often come up like, oh, let's create, whatever in real life. You had done an event for Super Mario 3D Land in New York. I didn't go to that, but that looked really cool and seemed to capture that.
We'll tell that story at a different time.
Right.
Because I had a number of challenges when you do things that are risky like this that we did not anticipate. And this one was kind of the same thing, like sounds super cool if we can pull it off, but could have a lot of challenges as well.
Right. And so it seemed like a really promising idea. They were continuing to do research and we were all kind of like banking on that of like, all right, this feels like of all the ideas we've come up with, one of the best ones. Mm-hmm. Hopefully this pans out. Our events team is super good.
Yeah.
And they came back and they're like, yeah, we can do it. And we found this space on the Santa Monica Pier.
Which was such a vibe for Splatoon.
Perfect. By the water. And they were like, yeah, we could do these build outs and people could do this like real Splatoon chorus and we could make it into this competition and we could let the public do it.
Yep.
And we just started to riff off that. It's like, oh, well, what if we brought in like celebrities? And then it became like, oh, well, maybe you and I can do it and we can film a video for that.
Yep.
That was really like a big transition point because there was so much talk around events of like, we have to just break out of
the people that are there.
Only reaching the people that are there and make it something that anybody can experience through a video or some other sort of content.
Yeah, and that was, again, because it was like sort of the beginnings of social media. And there's a lot of, opportunity that everyone saw. Like, how can we build something that is like so visually compelling that when you share either images or videos and you have all these now channels and people following these channels, like how can you do it so that you just get like so much more reach than you would than just the people coming to the event in Santa Monica.
Right.
So that was like sort of then after that, I feel like every event had that as part of its like strategy.
Right.
But that was like really the first event that kind of looked at marketing
Right.
in that way. So it was really different for us.
And honestly, I think even still, this was one of the few events that really nailed
that pulled it off.
that idea.
Yeah.
There have been a couple others, but this one, was the first and also one of the best examples. So again, we're in the Santa Monica Pier. They've made this whole, live Splatoon obstacle course, and we're going to do it.
Yeah.
So I remember we went the day before to scope it out.
Yeah.
And they were like telling us like, oh, here's what you're going to do. And what were you thinking like when they were showing this course to you?
I was thinking this is way harder than I thought it would be. Because it was like legit like Ninja Warrior level like stuff.
Yeah. It's like you're climbing like a rope
You
ladder.
gotta climb the rope. And so how it's set up is it's basically a course that was the same on both sides.
Right, for two people to do.
Two people to do.
It's like a race.
It's a race. And
Yeah.
there was areas where you had to ink, just
Right.
like in Splatoon.
Right.
And, it was two sides. So there was like a green side and a purple side.
Yeah.
So the idea was for you to get through the course the fastest. But everyone had to do the same thing. And when I first saw this course, I was just like, this is way taller, bigger, harder than I ever imagined. I did not have the advantage for this one because I was too short.
What do you mean?
Too short, couldn't reach.
You were nearly an Olympic level gymnast.
I was too short.
Do
Couldn't reach
Do I look like
anything.
that to you?
Your legs are longer.
That had nothing to do with it.
Yes, it did.
I was definitely like, oh yeah, this is like the real deal. And they're like, oh, well, first thing, you're just going to go down this slide into a vat of ink.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, that's going to set the tone. I
Yeah.
wonder what that's going to be
they,
like.
They had to they literally had to dress us like
Right.
for this. We had like helmets on just
Right.
because it was like an actual.
There was a lot
obstacle
of
course.
discussion around what we would wear to this because at first they're like, well, we're going to have these official outfits that you can wear. And I think we were both like a little iffy on that because it's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of spandex. And I was like,
It was a lot of spandex.
I don't really want to do that.
But we did.
I
There's
remember
some great photos.
But I remember I think we both brought like alternate outfits because they're like, yeah, if you want to wear something else, you can. And then we got there and like, you're not wearing that.
No, they
Yeah.
made us wear it.
Right. So we were wearing the outfits.
It was like literally like a
Right.
spandex, like tights.
Yeah.
And then shirt, and then you wear like shorts.
And there was something covering it up at least.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because it's really leaving nothing to
I
the
know.
imagination.
They didn't do a good job selling us on these
It
outfits.
was also white. So
Just
it's
pure-
like,
pure white
it could
spandex.
Be see-through.
There's
Like
no-
all
yeah.
your stuff is just out
the
for the
bits.
world to see.
My squid bits.
No one to see your
So we had this one day to like see it and like think about it.
Yeah.
And we were going first.
We were the
next morning.
We were literally
We were
like
the maiden voyage.
The test guinea pigs.
We totally were. They were like,
let's see
because
if
we
this
had
works.
so we had like legit celebrities coming. I remember we had James Marsden was the
Yeah,
big name that I
that's
remember.
right.
But they got all this talent from like the Disney Channel.
Right.
They did a big deal with them. They were like hosting this other video that they were doing.
And the Disney Channel was like on site. Remember? They
Right.
had like a little area where they were giving away stuff.
Right.
They were doing like their Disney radio stuff. So it was like super integrated into
Right.
the event. So yeah, there was like we had like us going first, and then all the celebrities were going like
Yeah.
in different time slots after us. But
you-
we were for sure the test.
Do you remember
subjects.
any of the other celebrities that were not James Marsden?
I don't.
I don't either.
I don't think I recognized some of the Disney ones because I was like too
Well,
old.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know? Or I don't watch Disney.
They were like 12.
And they were like
Yeah.
kids. Yeah. Good though.
Yeah.
It was good
Yeah.
for the audience.
So
Yeah.
we're going first. It's like, I don't know, our run was at like 9 o'clock or
It
something.
was early and it was freezing.
It was also raining.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's like it's on the water, so it was like a very thick fog, and it was like misting gently, but
Yeah.
it was legit freezing.
It was freezing cold.
Yeah.
Freezing cold. And when you hit the ink after that slide, it's like your body went into shock. 'Cause
Right.
It was like icy goo.
It was really
basically
cold, yeah.
is what it was. And I was like so cold. And the obstacle course, they had areas where you do have like a weapon that you can
Right.
use. There was like an area where you were like going through like a what is it, like a tire thing?
Well, so let's see. So it started with you go up the rope thing,
And then there's a big
and then you go
inflatable
into
slide.
the ink, right?
Yeah.
And then there was another kind of slide.
Yeah.
And then there was
like
the
the
tires
tires.
where you get your feet into the ink.
And you're like getting stuck in the ink,
Right,
basically, is
right.
the idea.
And then there was like a target. Oh no! Then you were inking the ground.
Yeah.
And then there was a target practice for the end.
And the inking the ground part was really cool because it was a giant roller.
You could choose. Yeah, there was like a roller. Or there was like other weapons
Yeah.
that you could do to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
right.
where you got me though. You beat me at the roller.
Well, that's the conclusion of this story. Is I did beat you.
You did beat me.
Right.
You did fall. I have a very comical. We have a very everything was on. Is everything?
It's slippery. It's ink.
It is so.
How are these inklings not falling down?
There was also a great picture of me. My whole face was just purple, and I was just like,
yeah. I think you were more worse for wear than I was by the end of it.
My whole body was like inked, and I think only your leg body.
Yeah, you really can't prepare for that first.
Oh my god, it was like
slide down.
It was fun.
Also, the texture of it was. I was like, what is this?
It's not. It was like kind of watery.
It was like water based because they were like at the end they were like,
what? Taste bad.
It was basically like they hosed you down at the end.
Yeah, it tasted like bitter though. Like it must have been.
Don't eat it.
Oh, I got in my mouth from when I was sliding down the thing.
Don't eat it.
Oh, we're gonna put all the videos here so you guys can.
Did you eat glue in school? Is that your is that your deal?
I don't like to eat it.
I'm gonna eat this.
Yucky. I unintentionally splashed in my face.
Well, this was also one of the very first videos that we did outside of our studio.
Yeah.
So it was like, how are we doing this?
Producer Steffi was filming us.
So she was like on the side, like running along with us with the camera.
She was awesome.
And then afterwards,
she didn't know how to do that.
Like before and after, we would mic up with like these wired mics.
Yeah, just like how we do now.
And then years later, these mics still had the paint from the event on them.
We never cleaned them, and then we never would.
And then it was just like permanently on there.
It was cute.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, mine's a purple mic. Yours is the green one. We always knew because it was painted those colors.
Right.
It was also really funny. They actually had, the events team was so good that they set up like showers.
Right.
And so like after, it was so cold, right? You were freezing, like shivering cold from that run, and we ran into the showers, and they were so nice. I remember she was like, I have 20 hot towels to hand you, just keep. And I was trying to like get all the ink off. Oh my god, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And and then the rest of the day they had the celebrities do their runs, and everyone had a great time. And then we had just like normal people that were in Santa Monica. They can have a chance to do it, and it was so cool. Like it's one of those events that very difficult to replicate.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the best Nintendo events that I
ever
was a part of. Yeah,
I think so too. Yeah. Now I asked you if you want to do IRL turf war with me. You say no, you don't want to.
Well, what do you want to do?
I just want to throw water balloons filled with paint.
Where are we going to do? Your mom's backyard?
Water balloons.
I don't think she's going to like that.
In the parking garage.
All right. You're going to get banned from this parking garage. You're shooting rap videos. You're throwing water balloons. You're standing up on the rafters, dancing around. Oh my gosh.
Oh, so fun. This is what, that first Splatoon represented, that like just kind of no holds bar type.
Yeah, just endless creativity.
Yeah.
Right.
And I this is why I was like a little bit sad when this game came out, because I was like, oh, like it kind of is losing that a little bit, Yeah. And so I hope the game is still really fun. I mean, I've been playing it a ton, so it's not like I don't like Splatoon or whatever, but I just want it to continue to embody that first Splatoon, that first moment when we met the devs, like this event, how it was just like we're open to anything, like it doesn't have to set a formula, So that's my hope for the series, like to just hold on to that spirit.
Yeah.
Forever. That would be amazing. But yeah, that is our story time for today. Should we get into our Nintendo Direct predictions?
Yes. This is our Never a Minute segment.
Yes.
Now, we should say, we did do Nintendo Direct predictions in June for a Direct that never happened.
Right. We did. Some of the stuff that we predicted in June was part of their like Twitter.
There were a few things, right?
Drip out of info in the summertime. So we checked some of those off the list, like the Bayonetta stuff, the Rabbids.
Sure.
I think the Indie Showcase had some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Or the Third Party Showcase has some of the stuff that we predicted.
Yeah.
But there was still a number of things in there.
Right.
I think I predicted the Splatoon Special Edition, which came out. So, yeah.
We've been pretty right with our predictions so far. Just say it. Just putting
Check
that
the tape,
out.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I have like many Apple
So that was the first place I went, was back to those.
Me too.
To see how I felt about that.
Right.
Again, I've been talking about him for a long time. My close personal friend, Jeff Grubb, has been out there. I believe him. I believe a lot of what he says. He was predicting this Direct. He was right. There are some things that he has been suggesting are going to be in this, which are
the ports,
which are playing into some of my predictions.
Well, let's go there first, because I think we both have those predictions.
Which one?
which is the Skyward Sword.
Do you want to start? Just start with Zelda overall.
Zelda overall.
Okay.
Yes, let's do Zelda overall.
All right.
So number one for me, and this is again something that Jeff Grubb has talked about. This has been picked up in the news. I've seen it about the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker ports coming to Switch. Which is something that we had predicted back in June. I predicted Wind Waker back in June. Sounds like this potentially could be like some sort of 2-pack or...
Yeah, that's where I get a little hung up is how do they release these and how do they space them out?
Yeah.
Because, well, we're just talking all Zelda stuff here. So I do still think Breath of the Wild 2 is coming in March.
Yeah.
I think we get a big blowout for that game in this direct.
I think so. Some sort of update, maybe a name reveal.
Right.
Something.
Some sort of, hey, here's, here's some more details that you haven't seen.
Yeah.
Like I'm imagining like a whole, like at the end, like here's 15 minutes of all Zelda stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And it culminates in the Breath of the Wild 2 details. They really do need to get this name out. I mean, we would always, they were like, we need to start pre-orders on this game like today.
And the retailers are always like eager to post that up, and you don't want a leak to happen.
And there's hesitation to fully doing that until you have an actual title.
And an actual date.
Right.
Yeah.
A title and a date. So I think that's a lock for me, is that we get those two things.
Oh, we have the lock animation. We got to lock this in.
Lock it down,
Lock
people.
it in.
Lock it down.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, I do now agree that those are going to be in the direct. But again, I still get a little hung up on how they're going to get out there.
I feel like one of them has to come out this holiday.
Well,
and their message says mainly focus on games releasing this winter.
Well, we know that means nothing.
No, but it does mean something.
So I think, we've identified December as an opening for them. They don't really have a December game. So I think one of them could go in December.
Right. And they want something more like family friendly. So it might be Wind Waker.
Yeah. They could, something else they could do is they could shadow drop one day and date and then save the other one for December, spread them out a little bit that way. Because I don't think you want to get it into
next year
because
you want people to focus on Breath of the Wild.
You're going to have a lot of information on that to start putting out in January. You want people to be completely committed and focused to that.
Yeah.
So I feel like they both have to come out before the end of this year. Don't look at my Don't look at my secrets.
Whoa. Your iPad.
Don't look.
From 2013.
So bright. Whoa. Yeah. So any other Zelda stuff? Special editions?
I don't think there's going to be another special edition.
What?
Oh, launching this year?
No, Breath of the Wild 2.
Oh, Breath of the Wild 2. Yeah, I think they might have something for that.
There were a lot of special editions for original Breath.
Oh,
Remember there was that big box with the Master Sword?
But not launching this holiday. Like no more special edition Switches for this holiday.
You're really locked into what they're telling you in their expectation management.
But
you worked there for 14 years.
They do that.
That's a lie.
It's not a lie.
When they say that, it's like 90% true and then 10% not.
Then there's 10% not, which is the Breath of the Wild stuff, and 90% of it is true.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a lie.
So it's not crazy that there would be a special edition.
Yeah, for next year.
Software. Special editions of Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah. That's a given.
Well, you didn't say it. Is it a lock?
I think it's a lock.
Wow.
What do you mean?
This thing that I just said, and that you just refuted 5 seconds ago. Now it's a lock.
I was clarifying whether or not you were saying it's coming out this year, which I think is not.
No, it's not. The game's not coming out this year. Game's coming out in March.
Hardware.
End of fiscal.
And
might be coming out on my birthday. March 28th.
Hopefully it's earlier than that.
Some people were suggesting, March 3rd, which was the launch day of the original game, still an option. I think somebody said that's a Friday.
Yeah.
So it could happen.
I think that's a good option.
I think it's a great option. I think it's probably coming later in March.
You think it's not going to make it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
They like to hold these things as long as they can.
Do we feel like the name is even Breath of the Wild?
I don't know.
I think they might go a whole different direction on
I don't care either, honestly.
Yeah,
a name is a name.
Yeah, I think it might be a whole different name.
Unless it's the Kit and Krysta show, in which case it has to go. Again, I think they have maybe overstated the importance of the name, and people are very fixated on that. And I think it might be a little bit of a disappointment of like, oh, we already knew that, or we already figured that out, or again, like, who cares?
Yeah,
I'm not.
It's getting really long.
I don't care.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
it's like if it's like The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Song of the Season, or something like that. It's gonna be real mouthful.
Right.
Yeah.
But that is, I think they're anchoring this direct with a big, meaty
Zelda
segment with all that stuff.
Yeah. I think so. Okay, anything else on Zelda?
No, but there is another franchise that is of the Zelda caliber that I want to talk about next.
Mario?
Which is Metroid.
Oh, Metroid. I have Metroid on my list too. Confirmation of Metroid 4 still in development is what I had written down.
So that's what I had said last time, but now that we are getting closer and closer to Zelda, I think, again, they need people to focus on Zelda and get excited for Zelda. I think there's zero Metroid.
I think there's some Metroid. They have to acknowledge this at some point.
Well, there's no launch date, so, I mean...
Yeah, but I think it's been like 4 years, right? Since the last update to this. So I'm going to disagree with you on that.
All right. So the other thing is, again, this was another Jeff Grubb thing, was the Metroid Prime trilogy.
Right.
Which he has been saying is potentially still in this direct. I don't think it is, again, for that reason.
Well, I think if you're going to port over Zelda and have people focus on Zelda, that might be kind of a stretch.
That becomes too much stuff at that point.
And I think the point of holding the trilogy ports until you're closer to launching or having information for 4.
Exactly.
4 is more logical.
I mean, look at how they're using these potential Zelda ports. It's to get people back into Zelda and excited for the new game.
Yeah, while they wait for the new game. That's their
exactly
strategy.
what they would do with Metroid Prime trilogy remakes. So, this is a good point of contrast.
Yes.
So you think we are getting just a confirmation, just like a mention?
Yeah, just like flash the logo and say still in development.
Coming.
Still coming.
Okay.
Working on it.
Wouldn't be shocking, but I don't think we get any Metroid.
But no, I don't think there's going to be no games. I don't think there's going to be any footage or anything.
Federation Force 2.
Shadow dropping today for Nintendo Switch.
Gotcha again.
Oh my god.
Okay, so good. We got Metroid. Check. You want to talk about Mario?
Oh, I was wondering if you had any Mario things in yours, because I do not have it in
again,
mind.
I am holding a torch for this rumored Donkey Kong game, not a Mario game.
I have this on my list too. New Donkey Kong game.
I don't think this is getting announced. Again,
they probably don't want to announce it right now.
I'm going to scream this from a mountaintop. They don't want you to care about any other big game besides Zelda right now.
Yeah.
They need you, and then come, April 1st, the new fiscal year. You flip the calendar on the fiscal year. Here we go with all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. That makes sense for them.
I really want this game.
Well, everyone does.
I really want it.
Well, everyone does. You're not the only one.
But I don't think we're getting it here.
We're not getting it. I don't think we're getting it. I had a question mark next to it. Do you think we'll get something in the Mario movie?
I have that as a no. I think they learned their lesson the hard way last time.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the movie studio is like, hey,
let's do that again.
Let's do it our way this time.
Yeah, let's do like an actual movie promo that we normally do, like trailers and...
Right. I feel like Nintendo might have twisted their arm to do it that way last time.
And they were like...
and now Universal's like, how'd that go, jerks?
Yeah, exactly.
Not again.
I had that as a no.
Yeah, I have that as a no, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that a lock?
That's a lock.
Oh.
No Mario movie.
I'll put that as a lock, too.
Okay.
I feel pretty good about that.
Okay.
Now, I have another one that is... I'm not going to put this in a lock, but this is a game where Nintendo has tied itself into a knot. The new Advance Wars game.
I have this on my list, too.
As what?
I think they're going to have a launch date for it, finally.
And the launch date is?
This might be December again.
Here's what I think happens. Slightly different.
Okay.
I think it is not mentioned in the direct, but
they just shadow drop it?
in the post direct press release.
Oh, the sizzle?
This game is now available on Nintendo Switch.
Oh, you just think they're gonna drop it like the most like?
Well, the reasoning. I mean,
the reasoning is the war.
The war in Ukraine is why they are not talking about or releasing this game. Who knows when that's going to resolve itself?
Yeah.
Seems no time soon.
Right.
So I guess you could just never release this game, or you could just put it out with zero fanfare at all and move on.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a lot of fanfare. I was thinking they might go back to the December timeframe because, again, they're missing some stuff there.
Sure.
So
that would require them to talk about it.
Yeah, but it might be like a quick little slate.
Yeah. If it's in there, it's going to be like boom, 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 boom.
It's like among other
Yeah.
games, like also coming out
that little
for
like
Switch.
slideshow thing.
Yeah, it's like this game, this game, this game, this game, this game,
Right.
like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel like they've put like going so far as to say we're not putting this game out, we're putting it on an indefinite hold.
Yeah.
Means they don't want to talk about it.
Well, yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
They're very scared now, for
Yeah.
sure, to do anything beyond the most basic thing
Right.
to drop this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am not putting that in a lock category.
Okay. All right.
But I
You gotta do something.
I gotta
with
think
this
you gotta
game.
do
It's
something.
just they're holding on to this thing. Let's just get
Canceled?
it out
Canceled? The lost
little too
game?
far?
I don't know.
I mean, it's done. So it's done.
What do you got next?
What else do I have?
I-
Splatoon DLC and
Yes.
Splatfest.
Of course.
That might be the start of the direct.
The first little preview of the
Yeah.
next content drop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because that game's hot right now. Obviously.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're definitely going to mention that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
For your whole list?
That's like my big stuff. Yeah.
Oh no, I've got pages more.
Why?
I will not get into the specifics, but a few months ago, around June, this was one of the things that was leading me to think there might be a direct in June. This new Fire Emblem game leaked in a really big way.
Which one?
The one that leaked.
Oh. I don't remember.
Where were you?
I don't remember this at all.
Well, it leaked, and it looked, and people were like, "Yeah, this game's basically done. They're just looking for the right time to announce it." So I was like, "Oh, these things usually leak when the announcement's around the corner."
Okay.
Given how far ahead it seems to be and what people seem to know about it, I think that gets included here, and that is maybe another. I don't know what the timing for that would be. That might be a later in 2023 kind of thing. You need a good bit of runway to talk about one of those games, and again,
It's so big, yeah.
let Zelda do its thing. Let Zelda cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let it cook. The dubious foods.
What else here? What's your thoughts on Pokemon? We get any Pokemon?
You might get a mention.
Yeah.
But I don't think because Pokemon likes to do their own.
It
stuff
just had
now.
a trailer last week.
Exactly, and so it's just like this game is coming out this holiday,
I agree.
on this date or whatever.
Little to no Pokemon info is what I say.
Right. Exactly.
And if
'Cause,
they do-
again, Pokemon does their own thing
Right.
now.
If they do, it's just like restating
mention.
what is already
Yeah.
out there
And
by
then maybe
the
like
limited
showing
edition.
the
Yes.
limited edition again.
We're getting into some little smaller bits here. NSO? Do we get some new something or other?
I don't think so.
I think we might get the Game Boy stuff finally.
Oh, really?
And I think it's the Game Boy family of systems.
Oh, boy, the family
Yes.
of systems.
So that would be, Game
FOS.
Boy, Game Boy Advance,
Game Boy Color.
maybe a little bit of Game Boy Color sprinkled in.
Well, that's better because you need games that can like hold up. You
Right.
know, if you do that.
Yeah. Original Game Boy on its own, I don't think is
Yeah.
exciting to many people.
Right.
So, and again, there's been a lot of noise about this coming. I'm not going to put this in the lot
I don't think
category,
this is gonna happen.
but I'm putting it on my list.
Okay.
I'm staking my name on
Do
the
it.
Game Boy.
On the Game Boy.
The Game Boy family
Color.
of systems.
Game Boy FOS.
Switch Sports Golf. I think we get a date
Oh,
for
that's
that.
right. The date. Yeah.
Again, nobody may care anymore, but it's
I see. This is why I didn't
That's
think
another
about
one?
it at all because I literally have stopped thinking about this. Game.
another box you gotta
Mario
check.
Kart DLC. We got
Yeah.
a pack. We could get another.
Yeah, we did just get that pretty recently.
Not that recently, but how long ago was that?
That was like a month or two. I don't know. I'm
It's a little early.
I had it on my list, but I'm not super confident about it.
Yeah.
I do. Did you have any third party things?
I didn't because I wasn't
Thangs.
sure if they were gonna do like another separate thing or it just seems like everything is very disjointed these days.
I have one thing
Silksong?
that is.
kidding.
What? Excuse me?
Silksong?
Oh, that is. This is more just. I just want it to happen. Then I don't really know, but this direct does lead into Tokyo Game Show.
That's right.
We have heard there is going to be something about the Yakuza games.
That's right. I saw that.
So maybe there's
Yeah,
some amount of
right.
Yakuza games coming to Switch.
Oh my god,
Now-
that's not gonna happen.
Now,
That's never
we did
gonna
get
happen.
some Yakuza games on Wii U, which bombed
They bombed
mega
hardcore.
hard, and Sega, being the genius company that they are, said we'll never put that on a Nintendo platform again.
Exactly.
But they gotta get that cash.
It's not
They
gonna
want to get. They want a bit of that cheddar cheese
The
on the
cheddar.
Swiss.
The dough. They want that bread on that switch.
Swiss cheese is what they want.
They want that switch bread.
So I'm wondering, like, is there some Yakuza Like a Dragon? We got a Switch version of that.
Oh god, it's never gonna work on Switch.
Why? I think they could do it.
I don't think they can do it.
So I'm putting that in the wishful thinking
Yeah,
category.
It's not gonna happen.
And that's actually the only third-party thing that I have.
Yeah, I don't have any
on my
third-party
list.
things. On my
Nothing?
Nothing. Not a single thing.
Scared to make a prediction about a third party?
I just think it's gonna be very like just a lot of nothing. Just a sizzle of like nameless games.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Any other Bayonetta things?
I think there'll definitely be something for Bayonetta,
maybe a
but
new trailer.
But I could also see them doing a Bayonetta direct.
That's true.
They did do a Bayonetta direct in the past.
Yeah, so
saving
they may hold it for
yeah.
like a little bit later or
Yeah.
early in October or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it'll be there. But
Yeah.
I mean that all that stuff. I mean that's a pretty beefy direct. I do think this will be a pretty good one because there's so much has built up.
Yeah, exactly. We
Right.
missed that June one,
Yeah.
so that people are. I mean, there's news that they have
Yeah.
to share.
And the
for
Zelda
sure.
stuff just it's like shaking a bottle of Coke. It's got to explode.
It's gonna explode.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta open that. It's like that champagne cork.
That's right.
Very careful.
It's exactly right.
Yeah. It has to happen.
Yeah.
You know.
What if the segment starts with Mr. Aonuma sabering a bottle of Dom Perignon with a master sword?
Oh, I would be on the hype train. They should do that.
7:30 a.m.
Yeah.
We're popping bottles.
Wearing like a Kings of Games shirt, just like woohoo! Yeah, he's like
Whatever
pouring
new-
one out for the homie.
Whatever new hairstyle he's got now.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Looking so
Yeah.
good. Silver Fox, looking great.
Yeah.
Savoring champagne. Oh yes, that would be amazing.
I'm a little
do that.
surprised at how few predictions you had. I'm calling you out on this.
Why?
I feel like you played it a little bit safe.
Had a lot of projections.
So again, what were our locks?
Zelda stuff.
Zelda name and date.
Yep.
That was a lock.
Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Wind Waker Ports. We had the no Mario movie mentioned
Correct.
as a lock.
That was a lock.
No Donkey Kong is a lock.
Yeah. And then we varied on Metroid. That'll be really
where
interesting
our
to see.
Paths diverged.
That'll be very
on
interesting
the
to see.
Metroid.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll
Right. All right.
How fun. Okay, so
Of course, it's already happened.
it's already happened. So
Please laugh
you
at us
guys
if we
will
need to be
know.
laughed at.
Or
We'll see.
you can tell us that we're right, which is also
Yeah.
fun. There you go.
All right.
Predictions. All right, games we're playing. Should we move on?
We shall.
Okay. Well, of course, we have both been deep in the ink
That's right.
of Splatoon 3, playing the single player mode
Mm-hmm.
together, and also, you've been playing like some of the other modes. I've been
Right.
mainly focused on Turf War. I was away this weekend, so my internet was like a little shaky. But yeah, I'm having tons of fun. I'm like trying to remember once more what it's like to play Splatoon. But yeah, the Turf War mode, I would say, and I think you agree, that it's pretty much exactly the same as before. No real difference. There's some new weapons and stuff to play around with, but besides that, it's like pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
How are you doing with the other modes?
Yeah, I'm no Splatoon expert, so Turf War and the other rank modes, I really can't feel a noticeable difference. Obviously, there's, different levels, there's some different weapons, but as far as like the mechanics, it's like, this is pretty much as
Yeah.
I remembered it.
Right.
Yeah, that is something that I sort of decided to myself. I was like, I really need to figure out these ranked matches a little bit more, the
Yeah.
ranked modes, because in the other ones, I don't know, I got intimidated by those, and the game doesn't do the best job of explaining the rules,
some
I
of
felt.
the rules are like a little bit wacky. Like,
Right.
it's not what you expect.
Yeah, I was like, gosh, we're on this third game. Like, this does seem like a pretty big part of it. I really owe it to myself to really sink my teeth into those and see what they're about. So I did. And I played, a number of matches. And of course, I got rolled in all of them. But I did feel like I had a better feel on what those were.
Yeah.
And they are fun.
So which ones did you play?
I did Rainmaker that was up, and then the tower one where you're on
Tower
the moving
defense. Yeah,
the
the
moving
moving
tower.
tower, yeah.
I ended up so I was using just the basic roller on the tower one, and that does have an ability where you can spawn like a shield right on it that proved to be pretty strategic and valuable.
Okay.
Because like as you're moving the tower, like nobody can hit you basically for
Okay.
like 10 seconds.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, those modes have always been pretty intimidating for me as well. I think the one that I think was probably the easiest was probably Rainmaker.
yeah.
That one is the easiest one to like kind of figure out.
Yeah. I mean, my other like big impression is like there's a lot of game here. Like,
Yeah,
there's,
yeah.
turf mode and rank matches. There's salmon run. There's a single player mode. There's the card game. Did you play the card game?
I didn't play the card game yet. Is it fun?
It's hard to find where the card game is.
Where is it?
It's in this little alley. I actually had to look up where it was.
I get a little bit lost in the map.
Well, it's not on the menu. Normally they have the menu where you can just jump around. Yeah, you can just jump to it. It's not there.
Why is that?
That card game is fun, though.
Okay, I'm going to try that.
I would pay a lot of money if they made that into a real game with real cards.
That'd be fun.
Do it!
They should totally do it. It's so easy to print a bunch of paper cards.
I know. I would be
missed opportunity.
I would be so excited if they did that. That's really fun. And then there's all just the kind of, snooping around the city and...
Yeah, and then getting all your gear and talking to all the... Yeah, and then looking at the people.
Right, exactly. All of that. So, but yeah, we've been playing single player mode, which, so far I've been very pleasantly surprised by that.
Yeah, there's been levels that have a lot of variety. There's some cool little story elements. The area that you are in for single player mode is really different than sort of the city and the the stuff that you're doing multiplayer. So I appreciate the difference between the two. So yeah, no, it's definitely there's a lot, and there's so much that I haven't done yet. And the game's been out, and I've been playing it, but there's so much more to explore. So I'm definitely gonna be playing it for a while.
Yeah, we were critical of what they were saying about the single player mode. I think this is a case where they just got a little tied up on spoilers.
Yeah,
and there's something pretty different here, and we just don't want to tell anybody about it, and we want them to experience it fresh.
Yeah,
because there's kind of a fake out. The first couple levels that you do, you're in that kind of
more traditional,
deserty kind of area, and then you go to a completely different place.
But I would say it wasn't enough of a story thing where it warranted not sharing anything about this mode and having it be completely silent.
We've seen them do that before.
Yeah. It was it's definitely one of those things where it's that was not worth it to. And
a lot of people have said, the ending is very surprising and climactic.
Yeah.
And it does seem like the little hints we're getting from the scrolls are filling out the backstory of what happened.
Yeah, the scrolls are pretty interesting.
This is what I want out of Splatoon, so I'm excited to keep plugging away at that.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely has promise for it to be actually a very robust and interesting mode where it gives you some history of the context of this world.
Have you had any issues with matchmaking? That seems to be a criticism I've seen people have.
Yeah, I've had a number of matchmaking issues. I don't know if it was on my end or I was traveling this weekend, so could be me. My major issue is matchmaking into a course and then getting disconnected in the middle. Oh. And then having it say one or more people have lost their connection.
Were you the one who lost the connection?
It wasn't me. I don't think because I think if it was me, it would say something different, right? I don't know. And then it kind of ports you back to the turf war.
I had a slightly different matchmaking issue, which only happened in the ranked battles where it would just endlessly be searching for a game. Maybe there's nobody whose rank is as low as mine, and he couldn't match me. And it was like what was happening when the Splatfest when we tried to play as a team. There seemed to be no way to back out of that. And I would have to just
hard
reset the game.
Yeah.
I was there's got to be a better way.
Right.
So that's high on my list for whenever the first patch comes out.
Yeah.
Please
I haven't had too much issue with regular turf war, just getting into a game.
Yeah, I haven't had any issue with that either.
It's after you get into a game is when I've had some major disconnect issues.
Yeah. This seems to be the common gripe that everybody is united on with the game so far.
It's so weird how it does that. Yeah. It's just unsteady servers maybe or
something
like that. I don't know.
Working out the kinks. Who knows?
Yeah. No, I get it. And then, of course, the first weekend is the volume is so high. So it must be. Yeah.
We did put out a poll asking people a very important question of what music group from the Splatoon series they like. And there was a surprising result.
Yeah. Did it end up being Squid Sisters?
Squid Sisters won.
Yeah.
They beat Off the Hook by a little bit.
Yes.
But the Splatoon 3 group, Deep Cut, came in dead last.
Nobody likes them.
It wasn't close. I was really surprised.
I wasn't.
It seems like people like Big Man, but maybe not Shiver and Fry as much.
Not super, lovable, I don't think. Lovable. And the music.
Nobody can love me.
Nobody can love me. I'm just a squid. Look at me.
Unlovable.
I don't like them. Let me just.
Oh, really?
I only like Big Man. They're kind of creepy looking. Their eyes.
Do they look that different than the other ones, honestly?
I think Callie and Marie are the best looking.
They've just become more grotesque with each game.
Yeah, maybe. They're like monstrous
As
now.
the graphics get more like detailed.
Crisp.
And,
It's like when you see like the news
like,
anchors in 4K and you're like...
Put on your glasses. Oh.
The Vaseline gets like off the lens. Yeah. Sorry.
I mean,
I think
I voted for Off the Hook. I like them.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
Squid Sisters.
classic.
They're too samey to me.
Too
Like I can't keep you. I don't know who's who. A lot of the time, honestly. Callie and Marie. I don't know.
One of them has like black.
It's too much.
And one of them is like platinum.
It's too much.
Like okay. All right.
But that was surprising.
Yeah. I think maybe people haven't had a chance to get to know Deep Cut yet. I don't know.
Maybe not. They also play a role in the single player mode. We will not say what. We will not spoil it.
Right.
Maybe that is contributing to
That's
the dislike of these characters.
Right. That could be it.
We got more Splatoon in the news, so we'll come back to that.
Yes.
Did
you finish?
No, but I've been playing We Are OFK.
Yes, you have caught up to me.
Oh, I started this on the plane to PAX.
Yeah, and then you just continued.
I just kind of binged it since then. And I'm on the final chapter. I'm like halfway through that.
I am on the final chapter. I just ended the chapter before the final chapter, so I've not started the final chapter
Okay,
yet.
Good. I hadn't touched this, so it'd been out for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
I think it was the perfect time for me to start because the first 4 chapters were all available, and then the 5th was about to come out.
So you didn't have. It's like when you watch a TV show.
Right.
Where all the episodes are done except for the last one, you can binge it.
Right. It was like
it's kind of cool like that, the episodic nature.
Yeah, I can't think of a lot of other games that have done that.
Yeah,
and it is a very. I think more games should do this. Honestly,
I think so too.
Yeah.
It keeps it like fresh and it gives you something to look forward to, and it's like less intimidating because you're like, oh, I can just play this one episode, an hour or something like that, or less than an hour,
right?
And I don't have to like. Feel pressure to keep playing it every single day that week. I can move on to something else.
Right.
So it's like kind of a nice way to piecemeal out a longer game.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it too. I like it a lot. I'm very curious to see how the story resolves.
Yes.
Initially, I was like, am I going to like relate to these characters? Because they're like, this band in LA. It's like, well,
so
that's
cool.
not what I do. They're very cool.
So young.
my summary of them is they're these are talented people whose career aspirations are derailed by text messages. Because they're like, well, it's time to get to work, and then they get a text message, and then it's a 30-minute text exchange. It's like, well, what was I even doing?
Yeah, but it's so real. That's like exactly what happens to you in real life. When you're supposed to be working, and then you start looking at TikTok or something.
Right.
Or you're texting a friend or whatever, and you're just like, wait, what was this?
Right.
Yeah, it's so true to like the distracting nature of like our lives these days.
Yeah.
So it is relatable in that way.
I guess so. Yeah. But it's like, what would you like? I don't even know what genre of game I would call this because the amount of like interactivity really is pretty limited to the conversation exchanges. Mm-hmm. And then there's like, they always end the episodes with a music video where there is something. I wish there was nothing. I wish you just watched it.
The music video is kind of like a little bit like a light version of Sayonara Wild Hearts, where you're sort of
extremely light,
yeah.
Right.
Where you're collecting like you're like kind of floating around. You like collect some stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but what is this game like a reading
like a visual novel almost kind of thing? Yeah. Yeah, but I was thinking like, well, gosh, there's like so many there's a lot of good real good TV shows out now. And I was like, I kind of count this in that group of the way I think about this is very similar to those TV shows that I'm watching.
Interactive TV show.
Right, but it's like, the new We Are OFK comes out on Thursday. Like, how am I going to slot that into my viewing?
You can watch like, She-Hulk and then play this game and then watch Game of Thrones.
I was thinking of it very differently of like, when am I going to play this game? It was more of a TV show for me.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think is a good way to like get people to think about a video game in like a different way.
Yeah, so this was very cool.
Very cool. So we're probably gonna wrap that up. Yeah, like this week.
Soon. Yeah.
Ooblets.
What in the world is Ooblets? You were also playing this on the plane to PAX. I was looking over your shoulder. There was a dance battle with these little
jelly
blob
things. What is the difference between
what is
an
happening
ooblet and a bug snack is the question that we ask ourselves daily.
Happening.
It's a A very sort of life sim kind of game, but with some fantastical
The life of an ooblet?
elements with these creatures. They're like little creatures. You collect seeds and grow your little ooblet army, basically.
Does the ooblet grow into an oob? Like a piglet grows into a pig, you know?
I think it's just an ooblet.
Does it evolve into
I don't want it to evolve. It's
Does
so
it evolve
cute.
into a Pokemon?
No.
Can you eat it?
No.
Oh.
Can you eat a Pokemon?
Yes.
Lechonk?
Yeah, I would love to.
Small.
Please, deliver me a roasted lechonk.
Oh!
I'll feast on it.
With a small olive in its mouth?
Yeah, please. Appleton, if you please. Yeah.
Oh no!
Back to ooblets though.
Ooblets. So yeah, you start out. You're like this little girl, and you like come to this town, and you start your little farm, and it's got some of those like Animal Crossing-esque things where you're like planting crops and building up your house and, you know, customizing your character and collecting things. And there's all these little tasks you do for the mayor and the people around the town, and how you get additional, like you get a more variety of ooblets by doing these dance battles, which is what you saw me doing. It's almost like a card game. You get these cards, and each card is like a move, and the first person to get to a certain amount of points wins. So like this dance move gives you like 3 points, and this one gives you like 5 points or whatever. So that's how it works. And little ooblets dance around.
Sounds like another real life card game for somebody to make.
They level up. Oh, dance.
Pull the card and then do the dance.
Oh, that's cute.
See?
That's a very cute idea. And then you like grow different ooblets on your little farm.
Okay.
It's very relaxing, very cute, very sweet. The ooblets are fun and like squishy looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I've been playing it a little bit still on the side.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Good.
It's very relaxing.
You have a long flight coming up. You are going out of the country. What is going to be your plane game for that?
I'm definitely
thought
going
about
to
this?
play more Splatoon single player. I've been kind of like following along. Like you and I will play together, and then I'll play those levels like by myself, so I can like do it on my game too.
Yeah.
So I still have that to finish up. Yeah, I need to think about maybe like some other playing games that I should download for myself.
Yeah.
Maybe more ooblets.
Okay.
Yeah.
TBD. We are on to the news.
Yes. News.
Just this morning, Nintendo put out their own bit of news about Splatoon. Fastest selling game ever in Japan.
Yeah.
3.45 million copies sold in like 3 days.
And it beat Animal Crossing.
Whoa.
Splatoon is huge.
This is the biggest franchise in Japan. Like
Japan.
easily now.
This is literally I mean, you look around whenever you're in Japan, who's playing on what people are playing on their Switch. It is 100% Splatoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, like every child is playing Splatoon. Basically, it's unreal.
The game that it beat was Animal Crossing. You know what those two games have in common? Both produced by Mr. Nogami. He's making it rain. He's making hits.
He's the one in the bathtub of
Put
money.
the crown.
He's the one.
Yeah.
He's the Tom Nook in the bathtub filled with money. That's him.
There was a funny story of...
He can savor the champagne there.
I was lucky enough to go to a dinner with Mr. Furukawa once.
Oh, that's right.
And he told a story of, I guess, his kids and Mr. Nogami's kids go to the same school.
Oh, that's adorable.
And they're roughly the same age.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, Mr. Nogami is like a god at that school, and I'm a nobody. He is so funny. He's got this like deadpan like sense of humor.
That's why he was like, and I looked at the credits.
Look at the credits.
And I saw my name, and I thought I should go back to work.
Producer, executive producer, bro.
know.
Kids, look at me.
The kids are like, who are you?
Yeah, no, Mr. Nogami. He's the man.
I can see it.
Yeah.
He's the sweetest. He's the sweetest guy,
Yeah.
and I can definitely see him as like just like a celebrity with these children. So cute.
There was a new Pokemon trailer that came out
That's
for Scarlet
right.
and Violet.
Yeah,
We haven't really had a chance to talk about this ourselves very much.
because we were like on the road.
we were
when
we were
this
busy.
All happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did you think of this trailer?
I mean, it definitely had like more drip feed of Pokemon information that they normally do around this time. I'm not interested in these gyms, honestly. Like,
The 3 storylines.
No, I'm interested in the 3 storylines, but the Victory Road,
That one.
yeah, that's the least interesting one to me.
I would have wanted one of them at least to be a little more different.
Yeah.
Like there was one I was like, oh, could it be like a treasure hunt or something that was not as battle focused?
The one that I like the most is the Path of Legends, the one with the cooking ingredients.
Of course.
Right. That one seems to be the most different of all.
Yeah.
Of the others. Yeah, Starfall and Victory Road all seem
I'd like to know more
kinda
of
similar.
the difference between those.
Yeah, but the gyms, I'm over the gyms. I'm like, literally, I'm so over them. Like, don't give me another, you got, and then his weakness is blah, blah, so let me just rearrange. I'm tired of it. I'm not doing that.
All that being said, my hype for this game is getting pretty high.
I'm really excited.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I look forward to this Pokemon game because it's time for me to play like a mainline one. Like
all right.
I did not play Sword and
That's
Shield.
true, you did not.
So it's been a couple of years. Obviously the last Pokemon game I played was Arceus, and it's very different.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And now I'm like, yeah, like I want some of those elements, sure. I want to see what else is sort of like different, but I'm ready for like mainline Pokemon. Like, give it to me.
I mean, maybe it's just the way they're presenting these trailers, but it does feel really new and fresh.
It does, yeah, it does feel good.
In ways that are making me excited. Like, I really like this feature of, like, you can just kind of send one of your Pokemon out to do a battle.
Right.
And you don't have to
wait around for it and just press the buttons.
Honestly, the battles are the things that I like the least.
Yeah, the exploration is the best part.
Because that's what they really have been very hands-off in evolving. Like, the battle kind of is the battle.
Right.
And to me, it feels like at some point you're just playing it like an Excel spreadsheet.
Exactly.
Which I don't like so much. So the idea of like, just doing auto battles, I'm like, that's perfect for me.
Right. That's more so like resource management. But I like the collection, the exploration part of this. So let me do that.
And obviously you can't do that for every battle, but
Right.
it might cut down on my frustration if I have any.
Yeah.
There's also the new Switch OLED, which was announced, which to me looked like a Splatoon OLED.
It did. I'm not really into these special editions recently.
Yeah.
They don't look that good to me.
I think these have both looked nice. I just wouldn't buy a game specific piece of hardware. I don't think I've had.
The Animal Crossing one was gorgeous, and I was not sorry that I stole that one from Nintendo.
I wasn't interested.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that one like really embodied the game. These ones are like kind of like it's a little bit lazy, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, I thought these looked nice.
But
again, I'm not interested, so.
Yeah, it's all right.
It was interesting. They were kind of like, they put this out during Splatoon launch week.
Yeah.
And then they were like, we have this OLED with a lot of the designs that look like Splatoon.
Exactly.
Like biting.
Yeah.
Because again, the Pokemon rollout is made separate from whatever Nintendo's planning.
Way in advance.
Yeah, and Nintendo does not get to say, like, don't do this.
Yeah, and they don't actually tell Nintendo a lot of information about it.
They just do it.
They just do whatever they want, yeah. Exactly.
This next one, this made me laugh.
Oh, this was crazy.
So there's a little bit of a little slap fight happening between Sony and Microsoft over this Activision acquisition.
Yeah, the Call of Duty stuff. Yeah.
And our guy Jim Ryan put out a quote, which I'll just read.
Verbatim.
Microsoft has only offered for Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for 3 years after the current agreement between Activision and Sony ends. After almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation, their proposal was inadequate on many levels and failed to take an account of the impact on our gamers. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality Call of Duty experience, and Microsoft's proposal undermines this principle.
Yikes.
Bro, they bought them. They can do what they want. The proposal. How'd I propose you beat it? How'd I propose you get nothing? It's ridiculous.
This just seems like one of those things. It's like, let me show you whose, stuff is bigger.
Jim
blah, blah,
Ryan
blah.
is like built in a lab to be like the perfect businessman because he's so unself-aware of like he would love to turn the tables and be like, you get nothing. Actually, Phil Spencer, you got nothing.
Right.
Let me see you cry
Let me
about
see
it.
you cry.
But now he's like, I want it. It's hilarious.
It is. It's just like, it's one of those things. It's like, these people still playing the sandbox together. It's so stupid. Like, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, as somebody who has all the platforms, I truly don't care how this plays out.
And do you care
and
about
I'm also not, I haven't played a Call of Duty game in like 5 years. So
yeah, exactly.
Whatever. But it's funny to be on the sidelines and watch it.
Yeah. It's kind of embarrassing for them.
Yeah. There was a big Okay.
Okay.
September feels like the new June based on how much news and events are happening.
Seriously, there's so many big
Oh my
things
gosh, there was
and
an
events
Assassin's
and-
Creed event that happened this weekend.
So cool.
Which, well, it was, I guess it was the Ubisoft event that had a major
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed
Focus,
chunk to it.
Yes.
There's so much here, like I don't even know where to begin.
There's a TV show.
There's a big Netflix thing that they're doing. Please be better than the Assassin's Creed movie.
So bad. I watched it on the airplane and I was like, this is garbage.
That movie stinks.
It
I was so
sucks.
disappointed.
Me too.
Yeah.
It could be so good. It's one of those things where the storyline is literally there. Just
know.
write the script the same way.
Hopefully they've learned their lesson on that. So
I don't
that's
understand
happening.
how it could be that bad.
Assassin's Creed Mirage is the next proper game. Features Basm, who is from Valhalla. It's set in Baghdad, a little bit before Valhalla. And they're kind of positioning this like, this is not the big like 100-hour RPG. This is more of like an original Assassin's Creed action adventure game.
It kind of reminds me of the one that was in Egypt.
Well, no, that was the first one of that new style. Where it was like, oh, my levels and my level matched against the enemies.
Yeah.
I guess Syndicate was the last one of that old style.
Yeah.
But it definitely, I mean, you know, even just based on the setting, I was like, oh, this feels like one of the original Assassin's Creeds.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see, because I've always said, like, do those old games hold up? Obviously, they're going to modernize it.
And it's going to look graphically
It'll look
amazing.
great.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely in on this, though. This is coming out
This
next
is such a
year.
cool setting, too.
I don't know when. Yeah.
I love
this.
this.
The setting is great.
The setting is really awesome.
There is a mobile game, Assassin's Creed. We're getting to a lot of code names here.
Yeah.
Codename Jade.
China.
Set in China.
Open world RPG, yeah. Interesting.
They've talked a lot of like, oh, we've optimized it for touch controls.
We'll see about
I'll believe
that.
it when I see it.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But if they could do the Diablo thing, you know, the point and click that they do for Diablo and the way that they optimize it for that could be good. We'll see.
They've done a lot in this kind of ancient China setting, like a lot of side stuff. They've done like comics and like other stories.
But they never had a proper
They've never
game
done
in
a
that
proper
setting.
full-on game, which it's interesting that they keep circling that so much. I honestly haven't consumed much of that side stuff.
Right.
Then we got Assassin's Creed Codename Red.
Which had a great piece of artwork alongside that announcement that looked very cool.
Which is the big next kind of RPG-ish game set in feudal Japan. Obviously, he plays a ninja.
Yep.
Made by the Assassin's Creed Odyssey team. I want to talk about your feelings about this one. Because I'm not sold on this.
Well, the artwork looked very interesting. I question the setting. I just feel like there's so many games already that are set in that time frame, in that world. I would like to understand how they would make it uniquely Assassin's Creed.
Well, especially since Ghost of Tsushima is basically Assassin's Creed Japan. They already did it.
That because a lot of games do it.
Right.
So it doesn't feel like whenever I play Assassin's Creed, I always look forward to the historical sort of like, I want to know about these like really unique places. That's why I love like the Greece one and the Valhalla was awesome.
Right.
It's tough when you do it for Japan because it's been done. So you just have to find a way to really put a unique spin on it. And I don't know what that is.
Yeah. So that's one hesitation I have is like Ghost of Tsushima is awesome.
That's like one of the best games
and it's
ever.
like, how are you going to top that?
Yeah.
My other concern is like, something about me, my spider sense goes off when it's like, yeah, this team in Canada is going to make this game about ancient Japan. And they're going to nail all of the kind of cultural, like they better get their like cultural insights team. Like,
they better go live in Japan.
They better staff up.
For like the next 3 years.
And the reason I say there's a little game from a long time ago called Jade Empire, which was embarrassing. That is set in like mythological, like ancient China, but it is embarrassing. The depictions
with
of
the tropes and stuff, like a little bit on the racist.
And I was like, I really like struggled with this because it's like, okay, well they can do, like they've done stories in the Middle East that are very like authentic. It's like, why couldn't they do it for Asia? And I can't really explain why.
Yeah.
But it just feels like the furthest cultural step they're going to take.
Yeah.
And they really need to avoid just taking the easy path on some of this stuff.
Right. Some of the more like stereotypical stuff
Exactly.
is not going to work.
Right.
And again, it is even more detrimental because it goes back to like all these other games have done it already.
Right.
And they have done it better.
Right.
So we've been down this path.
It is, I do like that they are expanding their view of history into Asia outside of, what's been mostly a European series.
Yeah,
I think that's great. And frankly, Ghost of Tsushima I had the same worry about that game.
It didn't have.
I mean,
it was
they worked
great.
with, the Kurosawa family to, they were on point with that stuff. So it's hard for me, again, to really put my finger on why I'm worried about this game.
Yeah.
But I just am.
Well, they just need to be like prepared and self-aware.
Yeah. I keep going back to Jade Empire, which is another RPG made by people in Canada. I have nothing against Canada, but it's like
it's very tone deaf.
Go spend a year in Japan, please. Hire up your cultural advisors.
Exactly. Especially for a game like Assassin's Creed, where they do put so much stock into the historical importance of things.
I thought everything they were saying about that of just like, history is your playground, and that event was like, yes, this is why I love this series. This is why
you love the series,
right.
Exactly.
So I know they can do it. I hope they nail that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we got this other weird tease, Assassin's Creed codename, is it Hex or Hexe?
I think it's Hex. I don't know.
This was a very short tease. Do you know what this is about?
I didn't see this one, actually.
Some people were looking into this trailer, and some people seem to have some theories. They were like, this looks like it's about some witch hunts that happened in Germany in like the 1600s. That the whole hex part of it does, and there was kind of like a, witchcrafty looking logo.
Okay.
Does lead me to think that could be it, but I mean, they said literally nothing else about it.
Right.
And then they said that for Codename Red and Hex, this Assassin's Creed Infinity platform is going to be like the hub for all their ongoing games.
Their ongoing stuff.
Right.
It's good to umbrella it under something like that, though.
Did they need to announce this much? Why did they need to announce this much?
It's like the Marvel approach.
I mean, it's nice that they did, I guess.
It's the Marvel approach. They just want to get all the stuff out there because they're also a sieve over there, so things could leak at any moment.
That was one thing I thought of, like, a lot of this stuff has already leaked. Maybe they're getting ahead of it. But
just do it.
But if Assassin's Creed Mirage is 2023, Codename Red, the earliest that could be is 2024.
Right.
And then Hex is like 2025?
Maybe.
It's still 2022.
That's only 3 years from now. 2022 is almost over.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. It just felt like, and they're like, we're using code names. Like, clearly they don't have everything figured out on these games.
But again, it's a sieve.
Yeah.
And the Marvel approach works. Everyone loves that. They just want you to...
Until they don't. Where's Fantastic Four? Where's X-Men? Where is it?
People like that,
People are getting mad at Marvel.
They like it, though.
Because also this weekend...
What's the alternative?
D23.
D23 was like a big deal, yeah.
You hire the Nintendo Ninjas to be your security team. You shut it down. And part of D23 was this Marvel Disney game showcase, which people seemed mostly down on because there was no like Wolverine or Spider-Man.
Yeah.
There was this new game, this Captain America Black Panther game set in World War II by Amy Hennig, who worked on the early Uncharted games. Mm-hmm. Could be cool. They didn't really have a lot. There was like a CG trailer. Then there was this other like Mickey Mouse game, Illusion Island, which looked kind of like that game Rayman. Rayman Legends.
Yeah.
Which is like a 4-player 2D platformer. I'm not a big Mickey Mouse or Disney person, so I was like, huh. Thoughts?
Interesting. I mean, I probably check that game out. Mickey Mouse is not my favorite.
Michael Mouse? What is Mickey short for?
Mickey short for Mickey.
No, it's not. It's one of those names where I'm like, how do you get to Mickey?
It's just Mickey.
It's short for something. I think it's Michael.
It's not Michael Mouse.
I think it is.
Don't say that.
But what is it then? It's not short for... It's not Mickey. It's
Mick.
It's not that.
It's not Michael.
It's not.
Don't call him Michael Mouse.
Please comments. Please
weird.
Set us straight.
That's weird.
I think this is like an old-timey... Because it's like, how do you get from Richard to Dick?
That's weird.
That's another one where I'm like, what happened
Well, your name is Christopher and they went to Kit.
Or like, okay, like John F. Kennedy, his nickname is Jack. That's a totally different line.
Like your name is...
We have a question coming up about this. Don't spoil it.
Well, you basically are calling out your own weird name, so...
All right, we're segueing directly into our Q&A and we're starting with that question. It's too perfect not to.
Where is it?
It's the second question.
Oh, okay.
We get every question from our wonderful Patreon community. The first is from Bruce Dash. As if through magic. Bruce Dash asks, "Hi, Kit and Krysta. Is there a story or meaning behind the name your parents have given you? Have you been given any nicknames by people you know personally? And if so, which ones are your favorite and least favorite nicknames?"
Wow. You go first, because we both have interesting name stories.
So Kit is actually not my legal name.
Exactly.
It's Christopher.
Your name is Christopher.
And my parents quickly realized that Christopher was a bad name because I guess in my early days of school, there were like 5 other Christophers.
It's a very like normal name.
So it's like,
yeah.
No, we need something more unique. So they went with Kit.
But how is that a nickname for Christopher?
I don't know. It's one of those like traditional nicknames for Kit.
So you could be Kit Mouse.
I don't know. Sure, I'd rather be Kit than Mickey.
Michael Mouse.
Michael Mouse.
Michael Ellis.
Now, though, we both have a story of a near-miss name that we were almost given.
That's right.
On my side, I was almost Gustav. Gus for short. Now, my family,
Oh my God.
how many generations ago? 2-3 generations ago, immigrated from Scandinavia,
Yes.
Sweden specifically.
Yes.
I have an ancestor. It was Gustav Ortegren.
That's
So
like a family name.
I would have been named after him.
Okay. Could have been Gus.
Could have been Gus.
Near miss.
And
Near
you could
miss.
have been.
So when I came to America when I was 5, my mom, my entire family actually were like on this like committee to find a good English name for me because obviously Krysta is not my given name.
What is it?
I have a Chinese name. It's Ying Ying is my Chinese name. And my parents were like, no, we want her to like assimilate and have like an American name. And they were like really fixated on Shirley because they used to watch like Shirley Temple.
Laverne and Shirley?
No, it's Shirley Temple, the Good Ship Lollipop. This is a cute little girl, you know? So they were like, it could be like Shirley, which would have been awful. Sergeant Shirley's, but yeah, that's not, I don't think Shirley fits me, but anyway. But then my mom was watching this movie. I don't know if you guys remember this movie. It's so old. It's from like the 90s. It's called Fern Gully. It's about like, it's like a cartoon.
That's an animated.
It's an animated
thing, right?
movie about like little. It's like about the environment or something like that. And like she's like this. She's like a little fairy, and I guess she decided to name me Krysta after the little fairy because she said that it reminded her of me. So near miss could have been the Gus and Shirley podcast.
Oh boy. Tough stuff.
Nintendo Minute with Gus and Shirley would have been a little rough,
rolls
guys.
off the tongue.
Somehow we ended up with Kit and Krysta.
Could have just been. I said I'm not shortening this. I'm Gustav.
Gustav and
Forget
Shirley. Let me make you a borscht and like knit you a...
I do wish Ortegren was my last name. I think Ellis. I think that was an Ellis Island. That's on my dad's side.
Yeah.
I think we got assimilated at Ellis
assimilated.
Island. There's a lot of that paperwork is available, and I like my family. I've been like going through that stuff.
I bet you do have a real Swedish name. Like
I
the last
found
name.
the like
Is it Ortegren?
the document of like when they arrived, and it was last year exactly 100 years ago. Can you believe that?
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy how much of that history is like
available
either
to
lost
you.
to time or very available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you totally got Ellis Island assimilated.
Absolutely did.
Yeah.
But nobody knows like what that is like lost. Like what was it before then?
Oh man.
That
There's
side
no
of the,
documents
that side of the
there.
documentation,
It's
it ain't
gone.
there. Yeah. So I don't know.
Oh, that's crazy.
Weird.
That's really weird. Okay.
Benjamin Rivers. Did you ever influence Nintendo's third-party publishing team in regards to indie games they promoted either on a direct or elsewhere? As a developer on Switch, third-party publishing is a giant black box, and I always wonder how decisions get made within that group. Yes, Benjamin is a developer.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, we have heard that Nintendo had a reputation. I think it's gotten a little bit better now.
I think it's gotten better.
For being a little unresponsive
Yeah.
on the third-party
Yes.
side. Hopefully it's getting better.
Yeah, they had a process that I remember like working on a little bit when I first started at Nintendo, where it was like a submission process for your game and to get the equipment you need to like build a game on Nintendo systems, and it was pretty antiquated at the time. So hopefully they've like revamped that to make it easier for developers. Marketing wise, though, we definitely heard from our third party team, like these are the third party priority games. A lot of times they were like of course, the more like bigger names and more well known franchises. But of course, there were like indie games that they would surface.
They were good. I think they were good at identifying those indie games.
They were,
because they
yeah.
went more than just surface level
Exactly,
with those.
to understand
They did a good
them.
job with that.
The one thing that I really liked that we were able to do is on Nintendo Minute, we would always like have a big focus on indie games as well, and we would really like try hard to find games. We did like a lot of those eShop swap videos, and we'd find games that are a little bit more obscure for each other to play, and they were always really supportive of that. And I think that was a good way of like surfacing maybe some of the games that don't make it into the mainline, third-party marketing plans.
Yeah.
Yes, I hope that they continue to do that. I think it's super important to like identify these smaller games. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, next question is from Caleb, who has a 2-part question. We're only going to do one part, and it's the question for you.
Oh, why is it?
I will read it for you. He has a question about Mega Man, which I'll answer another time.
Okay.
For Krysta, what is it like being an Asian American in an industry with a large Asian, read Japanese probably, presence globally? Were there often assumptions made, or was it not quite an issue? I'm curious to know, as a Japanese American professor who has been thinking about this type of interaction for myself in my field.
Oh, that's so interesting. You're a professor. Well, I will say that, working for a Japanese company, it kind of didn't matter that I was also Asian because I wasn't Japanese. Yeah. I didn't have like any advantages in terms of knowing the culture, beforehand, or knowing the language or anything like that. So I felt pretty much the same as any non-Japanese person. So I would be learning right alongside like all of my counterparts, kind of the same stuff, whether it's cultural differences that we had to overcome or language barriers that we had to overcome. So that part, I never felt like I had any kind of, advantage or disadvantage being Chinese or Asian. And I would say that, when we were working closely with our teams in Japan, they were always pretty, like, the direct counterparts that we had, they were always pretty, like, open. And I don't think we ever felt like, oh, it's so hard to, like, communicate with them. Like, they all knew, thankfully knew English. And we were always, like, we had a good relationship where it was not so, like professional where you couldn't say, anything at all. Like you did have sort of that more casual relationship where you could have more honest conversations. So I never felt like, that was like a huge issue or anything like that.
Yeah. And I mean, this was my perspective. It didn't feel like the people who were Japanese, like, had favoritism toward them necessarily.
Right.
There was the interesting phenomenon of the people who spoke Japanese.
Yeah.
And we actually got a question for this that I think we're going to put in our bonus Q&A, which is a great Patreon perk for this week. So I'll just keep it brief here. Speaking Japanese was a double-edged sword because on one hand, you were privy to be part of a lot more conversations. On the other hand, you got brought into a lot of things that maybe you had even nothing to do with.
Right, and it just added like extra work to your plate.
Right.
But I've never felt like, any type of way, being Asian but not Japanese. Because that is an interesting dichotomy.
Yeah. All right, Kai X asks, what are some of your favorite Club Nintendo or My Nintendo rewards?
Club Nintendo.
I'm going back to Club Nintendo. I got 3 that come to mind for me.
Okay.
The first 2, they made some really great statues.
Oh,
They made a Luigi's Mansion statue, which was
really
super
awesome.
nice.
Yeah.
They made another statue, which was like kind of like, the classic Mario family of characters. Those 2 were both so nice. And then the third one I got was a series of Mario pins, but they were each individually boxed and put into
like a frame or something,
into this clear plastic holder that it made an 8-bit Mario when you put them all together.
Cool. Yeah.
So those are the 3 that really stand out to me. I did get recently the My Nintendo
the coasters,
the Roost coasters,
yeah,
which are
Very cool.
Very nice. I'm glad they're going back into more physical.
Yeah,
rewards.
the physical stuff was so good. My favorite was every year you get that nice calendar.
Oh,
I love the Club
Cares.
Nintendo calendar. It was such like a treat at the end of the year. And I think I also got a really cute Animal Crossing fan that I was like that I had for a long time. I think I might still have it somewhere. But it was very cute. It was very much like during the summertime for those like firework festivals. And they made some really cute little Animal Crossing. Like they were all different.
Right,
so cute. Yeah.
I was friendly with the guy who was the head of Club Nintendo, and I felt bad for him because he always just kind of had the feeling of like, well, I'm in a lose-lose situation here no matter what.
Yeah.
People are going to want more, or people are going to be mad at me.
Yeah.
But that stuff was cool. That
cool.
Club Nintendo era was definitely interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Fair. Another question for you. Oh, I have been waiting to ask you this.
Okay.
I have been dying for this.
Okay, tell me the question.
On episode 29 of the podcast, and there's a timestamp here.
Well, you're really going
you
deep into
mentioned that Mario Kart 64 is not very good, you don't like it much, and that it doesn't control well. I agree.
Okay.
But on this Nintendo Minute episode, you say that Mario Kart 64 is your favorite Mario Kart game. And there is a link and a timestamp there. What made you drastically change your opinion? And which one is your favorite now?
My favorite now is Mario Kart 8 or Mario Kart Double Dash. I am a known flip-flopper, you guys. And I think everybody is entitled to change their mind. This video was from how long ago?
Now, it gets suspicious because you have talked so much about how you never had a Nintendo 64. So how could this have been your favorite in the series? I'm turning the hot lights on you.
I think it's because I did play that game a lot with one of my friends, and I have good memories of like just hanging out with her and playing Mario Kart on her Nintendo 64. But I never had one. So
I went back and watched the video in question. There is a bit of like hesitation when you say this.
Okay.
That I'm like, maybe I don't know what happened. I need you to go back yourselves and give us.
I don't know. I don't remember what I said and like whatever. But no, I don't.
Fair brought receipts.
I played the NSO version of Mario Kart 64 recently, and I do not like it. It
Oh
does not control well.
You said that was your least favorite now.
Yeah, I don't like it anymore. Oh my gosh. I don't. I'm sorry. So yeah, Mario Kart 8 or Mario Kart Double Dash. Now the new answer.
In questions on other distressing topics, Fruely has a question about Metroid Prime Federation Force. When this was revealed, it was one of the most disliked videos on Nintendo's YouTube channel, and many were left disappointed. Describe the stages of grief you experienced after seeing the negative reaction. What kind of damage control did you do to convince players that this was a game they should not be missing out on? I don't know about you. It was quite clear at that point that this game had no shot, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it was one of those like, oh, let's face reality kind of thing. We still marketed the game.
Well, we should also say the first trailer was that blast ball.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't even the proper game.
That's right. It was like a mini game within the game.
This is one of those absolutely inscrutable decisions where somebody felt strongly that this was the right thing to do.
And they were wrong.
But could not have been more wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you ask them, they would give you a long answer, but it's like, why does this make sense to you? This is terrible.
This is terrible. Like, this, just show the game as it is, and then...
The way that people can talk themselves into a wide range of good or bad decisions is really fascinating to me.
And the thing that happens at Nintendo is like one person can be...
Depending on who has the opinion.
Right. That person can really be the person to change the course of some decision or history. Yes. It's like one person. Like, why is one person so powerful? Yeah, no, it was terrible. It was... Yeah. It was really
truly unknowable.
We tried to like turn it around with that multiplayer stuff and like talking more about Samus and the storyline, but it just did not work.
I still stand by. I still like the idea of Federation Force. I don't love it as a Metroid game. If it was just something else, I think that would be good.
The multiplayer part of it is like fine. You know, there's like
I like that.
part of it is fine. And like I get that, but it's just it doesn't work as a Metroid game.
What were you thinking? Fuante Zero asks, have you played a Nuzlocke run of Pokemon? And if so, do you have any stories to tell? Well, we have a great story to tell about this, where we thought that this would be a fun idea for a Nintendo Minute video.
did, yeah.
So we pitched it to the Pokemon company
And
and
we
say,
did
hey,
not get slapped.
we would like to do a Nuzlocke run. What do you think?
And they thought they were going to fire us.
They said, here's what we think. Bam!
Yeah, no, seriously. I was like, oh, shoot.
So they said, we consider this to be on the same level as using like hack game, ROM hacks.
Like, how is that the same?
Excuse me?
I don't know, how they get to these decisions.
This is just a style of playing a game that everybody can buy. There's no hacking.
Yeah, they're
You're
not
just playing
using
the game.
anything weird.
That was truly, again, one of the more like,
what?
Wait, what? Responses.
Yeah. And there was a lot of creators that played Nuzlocke, a style of Pokemon. They got like erased from their creator program.
So now you can see like why people got afraid to propose what seemed like very basic ideas.
Yeah.
Because there was such just unpredictability of like, am I going to get like in huge trouble for suggesting
we really did. Like, we
normal
got in
thing?
Huge, and like the thing is like once you get in trouble,
then that's your reputation.
They don't want to trust you again. You like lose access to all these things.
So you do nothing.
Exactly. Or you make curry.
And you just skate by. Yeah.
Again.
I think you and I think, did a wonderful job of not ever getting too discouraged by that sort of thing.
Yeah, we did try to propose.
We'll just power through and come up with something.
It did get really exhausting after a while.
It does get, yes, absolutely true. Absolutely true.
All right.
Ian T. Clark. Ooh, this is another good one. A couple years ago, there were several popular YouTube content creators like Austin John Plays and Beat 'em Ups posted videos about being removed from Nintendo's official content creator program. I think they called it the Nintendo Ambassador Program. I recall them saying they were never informed of why they were removed and what was needed to qualify for these official Nintendo-sponsored programs. Were they just making this up for clicks, or is there something to their claims? Thanks for taking my questions, for all the great content. Wonderful. Well, as the head of the influencer program, I'll let you take the lead on this.
Yeah, so when I took over the Nintendo Creator Program, it was like a program that was like pretty out of control.
Somewhat in shambles.
It was in shambles, it was in pieces, and it was handed to me in this like box.
In a box. Put this back together.
Yeah, like it's your problem now, kind of thing. And then it was not good. The big issue is the person that was running the program before me just let the list of creators just way out of control.
It was hundreds and hundreds.
It was like over 500 plus creators on that list of Nintendo ambassadors. And when I got this, I was like, how is it possible for this tiny little... We didn't even have an official creator team at the time at Nintendo. I was the first one and the only one that had literally a job title that had creator relations.
It was always like a side job for somebody else.
It was a side job for somebody else. Of course, Golan, the agency for Nintendo, was a huge part of it, but that was also a side job for them.
Contractors? Get contractors?
Interns?
Band-Aids? Contractors and interns, that's the solution.
The solutions are like a million contractors and interns that you treat poorly, apparently. Don't do that. So it was like never somebody's focus, yet you had 500 plus people that you're supposed to be building these relationships with, which is the whole intent of a brand and creator relations program. So when I got it, I was like, no, we can't do this. Like,
because you would ask the people who worked on this, who is this? And they would be like,
I don't know.
I don't really know.
I haven't talked to this person in 4 years. Yeah. So we did a huge like audit of everybody, and I will say that we had very strict like criteria.
It wasn't just like, who's got the most subscribers.
No, it wasn't even like who's making videos for Nintendo. Right. It was like we actually needed a certain type of creator that can create certain types of content. We also were it was like such a struggle because at this time the like our Japanese company like NCL was telling us like, we don't need creators at all, just cancel all of this. Get rid of it.
And being a creator working with Nintendo is very different than a lot of other companies. Difficult. For example, like you're not going to get a game early.
Yeah.
Like you're going to get it the same day as everybody else.
And so you need to find a creative way to like showcase
And for some of these people, that just doesn't work.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So there was like a lot of constraints, a lot of pressure from like our other teams just to like even questioning the program at all. So it was like a dramatic thing that we had to do to like trim the list. I think we trimmed it down to 100. It was drastic. It was drastic. Yeah. There were reasons. I mean, we definitely, as a brand, when we were at Nintendo, we had reasons to keep some of those criteria a little bit more nebulous, just so we're not like kind of backed into a corner. Because I think the situation happens is like if you tell somebody like these are the 5 things that you didn't do to make the list, they're going to be like, well, let me just do these 5 things.
Yeah. I don't know about you. I do have some regrets about not being able to be more personal in these communications, but at the same time, we had 400 people that we needed to talk to.
Yeah.
So
I think we should have done better with like, instead of sending them an email, like just calling them and like having a face-to-face conversation. But it was a lot of pressure at the time to just like fix this thing.
Right.
And that unfortunately was like a bit of fallout from the solution that we, kind of the only solution that we had.
Right.
I think if we didn't do it, that program would be gone.
Yeah.
Like there was no advocate for it besides us, really.
So the new chapter
anyways.
to this story is we were contacted by some of these people recently.
And we would love
maybe
to talk to
maybe one of the people mentioned on Ian's question.
Yeah.
And very, very congenial, friendly conversation.
We're really excited
about potential team ups.
Yeah,
so maybe that'll be coming soon. I don't know.
Yeah,
we shall see.
Exactly. It'll be fun.
Yes. All right, we got 2 palate cleanser questions after some real big, meaty topics. Jordan Collette, topical question that has to do with the recent rap battle. What Nintendo character do you think would be the best in a rap battle, and who would be the worst?
Wario would be the best one.
I was going to say the same thing.
He's got the bars
And the flow.
Wow. And like he can make up a freestyle rap that would really like just be a sick burn for the other person.
Scathing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anytime there's one of these questions of like what Nintendo character would be good at blank, I always go to Wario.
Well, not if like what Nintendo character would you have perform heart surgery on you? I wouldn't say Wario is my number one choice.
I would actually.
You put a garlic in your chest and heart. Or like fart in your face or something to like as your anesthesia.
The worst though.
Daisy.
Toad.
Hi, I'm Daisy. This is my rap. Hi, I'm Daisy.
Oh. Toad is one of those like novelty rappers where he's always like featured for like 2 bars because his voice is so obnoxious. Like you need to keep it in short doses.
That's true.
You know?
I can see that. Yeah.
Shaman-san has another great question. Time to answer the age-old question. Do you cut a sandwich into rectangles or triangles? I've seen it cut both ways, but which is correct? New Splatfest. That's great idea.
Good Splatfest idea. I cut it on the diagonal. That's how I cut my sandwich. If we're talking about like a
what kind of
sandwich
bread?
bread.
Just like white bread?
Yeah, like sandwich bread. Like a square piece of sandwich bread. I like to cut it on the diagonal because then you can start the corner.
You can go in for a cleaner bite on the corner.
And then you have many corners that you could like work your way through the sandwich.
Because if you're on the other one, sometimes you get it like smushed into your face. So you just eat the sandwich.
You can't do it this way.
Like,
and then this way is too much crust.
It's like, here it comes. What am I going to do?
That's exactly what.
Crust on or off? Bonus question. On. Yeah, don't take the crust off.
I'm not a crust girl.
Come on now.
I like the crust.
Silver 6477. Where do actual leaks usually come from? Someone with loose lips in marketing?
No.
Or the partners or vendors a bigger liability when it comes to keeping secrets?
Well, it definitely is like once the information leaves the internal bowels of Nintendo, it's very likely to leak. So like whenever we would work on like timing for announcements, we'd work really closely with our retail team who would say like, before this used to have to go to print. Now we don't do that anymore because it's like
the printing, yes.
Remember we used to print all the stuff for the interactives or print all the the store banners and stuff. Once it goes to the printer, your days are numbered for leaks. So that happens for sure. We have had some unfortunate marketing leaks that has resulted in people losing their jobs, so they take it very, 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 very seriously.
But typically that's not
But typically that's not the source. Yeah.
I mean, the first to be blamed, yes, but never the source.
Well, no, the first to be blamed is actually media. It's always like, oh, the PR team, they must have given it to some like irresponsible media person. Of course, it's never the media person. They're like, no, we want to keep getting this information from you. We're going to follow the embargo. Unless it's like an embargo confusion situation, which is also very rare.
But it's true, like once you get closer to an announcement, the number of people who know about it
gets larger.
Gets really large and your risk goes up.
Yeah, but I do think it's more so like the outside. Like retail leaks are so common. That's usually, it's like, oh, the shipment got there early and now in the back room of the GameStop, someone took a picture of whatever.
Exactly.
That happened with Switch.
And that's what makes it so hard to put the plug in some of these is like, what are you going to do when the guy in Walmart takes a picture of something? Like, what can you do?
Right.
Complain to tell Walmart you're never going to sell anything through them again? Yeah, right. They'll laugh in your face.
Yeah, they'd be like, whatever, who cares? I don't care about your stupid announcement schedule.
So I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Sneezekov, hi Kit and Krysta, I'd like to ask, do you think Nintendo could improve IRP, so investor relations, we should say, somehow? Oftentimes when quarterly sales are great and Nintendo is doing fantastic, press turns the situation upside by clickbaiting, claiming Nintendo is doomed. I was thinking, how about Nintendo would stream their IR events? Thus, folks would tune in and see the positive news themselves, and media could no longer find excuses to lie about it.
Okay.
Well, I think there was one good change that Nintendo made, when was this? I don't know, 7 years ago or so.
That website?
Well, there was a time where they were putting like legitimate news and like game announcements in their investor presentations.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore, which is good.
We all had a moment of like, why are we doing this? Like,
no one's
investors are not getting
are
not having a get hype moment about this game that we just announced. They're complaining about the rice balls that you fed them before,
tapping their foot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that was a very smart change that was made. The idea of streaming, I saw. Some media outlet was like, we're live casting the EA earnings call. And I was like, I think
so boring.
I think we've gone too far on this.
Yeah, you don't realize how boring it is.
It's like, I get that people want to know, but at some point it gets a little weird where it's like, I've become an armchair analyst for this stuff.
Exactly. It's like the people that solve like true crime,
Right. So
I do like the Nintendo IR site.
That's a nice website. Site. Yeah.
I think if you really wanted to just make up your or get the facts and like form your own opinion, look at that, because that's not going to have a clickbaity media headline that's going to like mislead you. You can just look at it and it compares like all the sales. It'll tell you the information that you probably want to know, and
all the materials are available there.
Exactly.
So that's kind of like, if you do want to go back and look for yourself, you can literally see it in English.
And they have everything, like the president's message, like those crazy PDF analyst reports that is really boring, like cash in the bank. They have like all that stuff in there. I understand what you're saying, like you don't want like everybody else to get worked up about it.
Yeah.
But that's what media is going to do, right? They're going to want to get you to click. But if you want the source of the information, I suggest going to the IR site.
I do remember in the Wii U days when it was not so happy earnings, it was always blamed on the exchange rates.
It's always the exchange
We would have been perfect if it weren't for these exchange rates.
Except you didn't sell like any units.
Yeah, we sold 5 Wii U's, but these exchange rates killed us.
The exchange rate was like 6 million to 1.
I know.
We would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, our last question is from Troopage. What valuable insight can you provide on Nintendo console firmware updates, always saying they increased stability and never actually sharing updated notes?
I feel like increased stability is like editor's notes when they say balancing audio. It means nothing, but you just put it in there to like fill in the updates.
Yeah. I think it means it would have to be so granular and so minute.
You probably wouldn't even notice it.
But it's important enough for them to do it.
Yeah.
That it's like, you don't want to know, you don't need to know kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And honestly, there are bigger updates that Nintendo is hesitant to talk about.
That's true.
Because they're like,
their patch notes are always like very
like I remember when
nebulous.
Like they added support for like Bluetooth headsets, or when they added like the folder feature, it was like, maybe we don't talk about this. It's like, well, people want this. People ask about this all the time.
This is a good thing. We should definitely talk about it.
I think the mentality is just always downplay these things. These are not a big deal.
Right.
Like,
focus on the game.
This is not news.
Focus on the experience.
Right.
Same thing, like when we used to have, Smash patch notes out, they would always tell us to downplay it.
Right.
We would always be like, oh, the competitive community really wants to see how can we market this? And they're like, don't ever market this. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sakurai's gonna whap you with a gold play button for his million YouTube subscribers.
He's getting there. He's got silver. Oh my gosh, I like his presentation was like how to make a compelling presentation. Don't talk too much. He should have given that presentation to some people at Nintendo for sure.
Well, as we get close to this 2-hour podcast concluding.
Don't talk so much. But we're at the end now.
Superstars.
Let's shout them out.
They get a very special shout out. So.
Our amazing superstars
There we go.
who have been growing in numbers, and we love them.
Yes.
And they're so amazing and helpful.
Why don't you go first?
I will go first. Here we go. Aaron Hash.
Ben Eichhorn.
Maru Mayhem.
Hertz.
Eigenverse.
From Raoul, with love.
Jordan Collette.
Kiss My Flapjack.
Mike Chin.
Mr. Rogers.
Paul Gale Network.
Rain Tech.
Roy Eschke.
Simon Barrera.
Switching It Up _
Safazon.
The Sharkama Men.
And VGM Life.
Okay. All right. Now, One Up Club graduation service.
Here we go.
I will also start. Aaron Burgundy.
Adam Edwards.
John Malari.
Ale Alejandro.
Alexandra Pratt.
Andre NYH.
Angela Bycroft.
Bagel.
Bookham Dano.
Bruce Dash.
Chancellor Fairley.
Christian.
Christopher Lay.
Cozy Tar.
Captain Cinnamon Buns.
Captain Alex.
C. Roper 17.
Daniel Valencia.
Dachshund.
Doodoo Face.
Douglas Chomix.
Dustin E.
Dino Punch.
Elite Peach.
Esparts 50.
Ezrato.
Furbound.
Fred Rossi.
Gar.
Garrett Hullfish.
Ian Shea.
Israel or Izzy.
Jay Rando.
Jabroni Jones.
Jackie Z.
JK99.
JBJ.
Jeff Yoakum.
Jesse Hernandez.
Jim Wakeland.
John Responte.
Jonathan Rowe.
Jordan Hammerly.
Joseph DeHaze.
Joshua Clements.
Juji Fruit.
Just Kimtro.
Kai Commercio.
Kawa 2796.
Kelp Shake.
Kevin Delane.
K Madman TV.
Krysta Roddy Kid.
You got to do the next one too.
Christopia Party with Me.
I think that was Kidderati Dance with Me that changed.
Yes!
Flip flop.
Yes!
Next month. Kyle Gamer Barry Rookie.
Kyle Kretzer.
Kyle LaBouffe.
Kyler Nelson.
Linnell Stickman.
Lego My Froggo.
Link.
Hashtag Krysta Roddy.
Lit.
Oh, sorry.
Whose turn is it? Lucas Pico.
Malfarink.
Mamu.
Marky Man 64.
Matthew Rawald.
Megan.
Michael Craven.
Michael Mazer.
Mikey.
Murph.
Mytran.
Nazar.
Nodnarb.
Panda Buns.
Pastel Prince.
Patreon user.
Piano Psychopath.
Prince Charmless.
P.S. Wee.
Raver.
Rad. Ray Sharon.
Ray Clausen.
Ryuji Utsuho Okuu.
Renee Rivers.
R.J. Kern.
Rob Osborne.
Rocks.
Ryan Hayes 521.
Rianetta.
Sam Newland.
Sheer Cold Vanille.
Shinryu.
Slowbro.
Schmiggles.
Spicy Munchkin.
Steel Citron.
Sunscreen.
The Number 9 Door.
Thomas Alvarez.
Troopage.
Tugs Puppy Bear.
Tyler Roddy Geistopian.
Video Game Stupid.
Beautiful Dandy.
Virtual Bot.
Wicked Davy.
Will Ernst.
Zoodiverf.
And Zen. What a group.
Hey, what a group. What a group. Some new folks.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you guys has joined the right side, the Christopian side. Good for you.
Hey.
Welcome. Welcome to this wonderful, lovely place. Okay. We have to stop. It's 2 hours. Okay. Don't forget to follow us on all of our other social media channels. It is Kit and Krysta on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and of course YouTube. Like, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell. And of course, join our Patreon family. We'd love to have you. It's patreon.com/Kit and Krysta. We're going to wrap it up for today, and we'll see you later.
Bye.